Inspiration, conversation with dream accomplishers. Tune in on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Write your goals down and then chase them. Tune in for your weekly motivation. On air with DeAndrea. Hey, on air with DeAndrea. Tune in for your weekly motivation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Dream on Air with DeAndrea. I am your host, DeAndrea Kidd, and in honor of Black Women's History Month, I have decided to highlight many female pioneers who have contributed to the service, skills, excellence, and innovation to our communities all around the world. And speaking of, today I have a very special guest on the show with me. Now, if you've recently been tuned in to season 23 of The Voice, then you may have seen her on Team Chance, y'all. You also may have known that she has become the very first contestant in The Voice history to receive the playoff pass, y'all. Not only is she strong in singing, but she's also strong in who she is in God, and she loves to share her gift with the world. So, y'all, without further ado, I would like to welcome Miss Manasseh Samone to the show.
Hey,
How you doing, girl?
I'm doing great. I'm just so blessed to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I'm glad to hear that you're doing good. Welcome to Dream on Air, and thank you so much for being here today, girl.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So, Manasseh, before we begin, I just want to say, girl, I'm so proud of you. It's just so exciting to see you just blossoming and knowing.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And girl, God's grace is all over you. Just even on how you treat people. I've been seeing good reviews about you on social media. Even people who have come in contact with you, they've had good experiences with you, and that's a wonderful thing. And it's like not only can you sing, but you also carry a good spirit within you. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, girl, yes. So talk to us, Manasseh.
My name is Manasseh Samone. I'm 23 years old, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. And I started my music journey back years ago when we were like middle school, high school. And I've just been pursuing it ever since because it's just like something that I'm very passionate about. And I was on season 22 of The Voice, and I didn't get any chairs turned. And then I came back season 23 and Chance turned. So, this is the hat that he gave me. So,
Hey, Team Chance, Team 3. So, girl, talk to us. You mentioned how you auditioned for the first time and you didn't get any chair turns. But what was that moment like for you that first time, where you heard, no, and you're like, man, this is something I'm really passionate about? How did you deal with that?
Oh, that is a great question. Honestly, it was really hard. The mental aspect of it is really devastating. I got really discouraged. I felt like I wasn't good enough. And, with prayer and then my family, the support with them, it helped me. So when I got the call back and they were like, oh, do you want to come back? It's kind of like, do I really want to come back? I want to, but at the same time, this could happen again. So I'm thinking in my head, maybe I should have come. So I was kind of going back and forth between the two. And then I just say, you know what, I'm just going to go by faith, and just believe God that, I'm going to get something. Something's going to happen. So it was definitely hard, but I'm glad I win.
Me too. So, yes, I'm so glad that you mentioned about, that you kept faith in God, and even how you, were kind of, devastated. I feel like, especially when it's something that you're passionate about and you're like, man, I believe so strongly in this, but I'm hearing no. And, why didn't this work out? And, that can kind of toy on one's mental. But the beautiful thing about believing in God and believing in what he gave you is that even when you run into a no, he always has a yes for you later on somewhere down the line. Yes. And it's like, I'm so glad that he gave you that courage and that strength to go again. And you also mentioned how you had a support system. I watched a few of your interviews before, and you were talking about how your family played also a great role in encouraging you to try again. And even, before you decided to go back again, just they were with you during those times where you felt like, man, you were disappointed and all of that. And I just wanted to highlight how important it is to have that support system in pursuit of chasing your dreams, especially when you're doing something you love. Like, y'all, sometimes things may not happen your way, or sometimes things may not go as expected, but do not give up. You know, it's so important to have a village around you. It's so important to, you know, make sure that you're keeping yourself encouraged in spite of hearing no's, or in spite of those, you know, setbacks, or, you know, the things that may happen unexpected. Because like Manasseh, you could just say, you know what, okay, God, I'm gonna give it a try again, and he opened so many doors for you just because you did not give up.
It's like all it takes was like a mustard seed of faith. You know what I'm saying? And I went and I was just like, God, I'm just gonna trust you. And I'm talking about, it was mental breakdowns almost every single day. I would cry myself like to sleep. It was just so bad. And then when I got the chair turned, it was just like, I've been running a marathon for so long. And I was getting tired, and then like when he had his turn, I was like, I couldn't breathe again. And honestly, I just really thank God for the opportunity, because, you know, for our culture, this type of stuff don't really happen often. And then me being the first Black woman to ever do this before, like do this, is crazy. So I'm just so grateful. Like, I thank God for this.
Yes, and girl, it's important that you know that he has his hand on you. See, one thing I also want to point out too is that even when people don't validate you, or even if people may not be able to be there and see the potential or the gift that God has given you, he sees it. And it's like, he has good plans for us. He placed that gift on the inside of you. He's going to use you for great things. So it's like, as long as you get your validation and approval from God, you know, you will. The Bible even talks about how he would give us favor with men, you know. And it's important that, you know, you realize that all that you needed was a mustard seed of faith, you know, and you relied on him every step of the way. And girl, look at you now. This is so amazing. Like,
glory to God. Like,
yes.
and it's like crazy, because when you're watching it on the TV, you see like a small segment of what happened, and all of it looks so good, but nobody talks about behind the scenes of what really happened. And I just went through a lot, even since 22. Like, I wasn't mentally there. A lot of people were like, "Oh my gosh, what happened? Like, how did you get so better?" Like, I'm like, well, it's not necessarily my voice. It was just my mental. It really shows how the mind can really like affect your actual present life. And so I had to change my mindset and like be more on a positive rant, you know, and it can really make you be more negative, you know, like, you know, these people that get me, they didn't turn around. I don't feel, you know, qualified and all these things. And I remember I was talking to one of my friends, and he was like, just remember that you're not denied, you're just delayed. And that right there spoke to me.
Yes, and even like in those moments, God just shows up in a mighty way, because when we feel weak, it's like he gives us that strength to carry on. Like the Bible says that he is strong in our weakness. So that time where you were going through, you know, those mental battles and, you know, trying to keep yourself up, trying to recover from that, it's like he was there for you. And even to see you smile, and even like you said, what we see on TV may be a small segment of that moment, but it's like you're smiling. And it's like you made it past that. And it's so beautiful to see. And you also mentioned mentality. I feel like this is a beautiful thing for us as Black women to talk about, you know, because we deal with a lot of rejection, and, you know, having to prove that we're worthy, having to prove that we're qualified all the time, you know, but just to know that where our strength really comes from. And it's like, God, like, girl, even the fact that you, not only did you come back, but you came back and made history. Like, it's like God is really using you right now just to make an impact where you are. And girl, it's just beautiful.
Everything you're saying, like, especially with being a Black woman, is definitely not easy. Mm-hmm. And we are like the most rejected, you know what I'm saying? And we have to like do the most just to get the bare minimum. Girl. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I totally agree with you on that 100%. And I think that I really hope that this season, even if it's not me, that maybe a Black woman can win this entire thing, you know, because we have never had that on The Voice. And that would be such a big deal for our culture. Right. And for Black women. So I'm really hoping that one of the Black women this season takes the win.
Right, girl. And then another thing that I really admire about this moment right here is that we both can relate to, what it's like to be a Black woman, especially in America. But when we come together, when we support each other, when we stand in the gap for one another, that's when the beauty really happens. It's like sometimes we can't wait for other people to, be that for us when we can stand together and really just cheer each other on and support one another. And girl, I'm also rooting for all my sisters, period, girl. Yes. Especially you. Let's hope you take this home all the way, girl. You got so much love and support. Yes, ma'am. So, speaking of, I just recently seen, the playoff pass episode, girl. What was going through your mind in that time? Cause first of all, I do want to give you your flowers too. You held it down, okay? Just hearing you riff and run, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it, Manasseh. When you sing, it's like you're flying, girl. I don't know how to explain it. But I had goosebumps that whole time. So what was that experience like for you while you were up there on that stage doing your thing?
Oh, that's a great question. So a lot of people, like behind the scenes on Team Chance, they did not want to go against the trio, like at all. They were just like, I don't want to go against the trio. I'm too afraid. I don't know, because it's three voices, right? But, we grew up in, choir and singing. So I was like up for it. I'm like, I'm excited. I hope I go against the trio. So once I go against the trio, I'm like, okay, when I find out I'm singing Someone Like You, I'm like, this song right here is literally like a song I grew up listening to. And I'm a huge fan of Adele. So when I got on the stage and we started singing, it was just like I came up with all of my vocal arrangements on how I wanted to sing the song and what I wanted to do to make it build up and make it big, and also to where it can incorporate with Sorella. And it was really great. And then like when he chose them, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I hope that he like something happens, like what I'm saying, because we both did really well, and I just like, man, I hope that she, saves me, and he did. And when he did, I was just like, I was just so shocked. I was just like, I was praying for that playoff pass, and I was just like, I could feel like I was gonna get the playoff pass. And next thing you know, like he hit his button, and I'm looking around, and I haven't seen the playoff pass sign come up on the little projector that they have in the room. And I'm just like, what is going on? What happened? Did somebody save me? Somebody steal me? Like, I thought maybe Kelly did or something. I don't know. And next thing you know, I see playoff pass. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I'm just going crazy. Like, I'm just, oh my gosh. Like, it was just a lot of stuff. I cried. I was so happy. It was just a lot of emotions of just joy. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so close to getting to the semifinals now. Like, I just have to execute my next performance, and there's a great chance that I can go to the semifinals. I mean, Chance said a lot of things about me. Like, he said that I reminded him of Jennifer Hudson when she was young. That's a huge compliment. And I do not take Jennifer Hudson lightly, you know what I'm saying? And then turned around, he said, oh, Manasseh's like head and tails in my eyes. I was kind of like his top pick. For him to say that was like, oh my gosh, I'm so humble and grateful to even be in this position to where someone actually sees my gift, because last season nobody really was getting the vision because they didn't turn. But Chance, he turned and he seen it, and I'm just so appreciative for that.
Yes, girl. And first of all, your response to him was everything. I loved how even at first when he did pick Sorella, your blessing to him, still admiring that he was there to help coach you, and and it's crazy because that's all you had to say. Like, literally, that's all you said. You said, Chance, you were such a blessing to me. And boom. Like, and when I saw that, girl, I had chills. I was screaming watching the video. I was like, oh, my God, yes. Like, it was so beautiful. And that even goes back to when you were talking about mentality, seeing the positivity in things, because you never know. Like, some things are just a test. And it's like, I bring up God a lot because it's like, yes, we are people and we interact with each other, but God is working behind the scenes. And I really feel like that was a test for you to see how you would handle that situation. And girl, you didn't say anything negative. Your face didn't change. You were still smiling. You even hugged Sorella. Like, you were, I don't know what you said, but it looked like you were encouraging him, like saying, oh my God, I'm so proud of y'all. Like, you didn't let your personal feelings or, whatever you expected get in the way of the moment. And God moved, girl. He moved, and that was beautiful.
Yeah, when I told Sorella, I was like, go kill it. Y'all got this, And then when I told Chance, because he really was, like, I even told him during the rehearsal, they didn't air this portion, but I even told him, like, you're such a blessing to me. Like, he has no idea the amount of darkness that I went through this light. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The light that I am in now. Like, he actually turned from me at a very dark time in my life. And so, like, he really is a blessing. And I thank God because he's the reason for everything. He's the reason for me even being in this position. So, I'm just going to always stay humble at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? God is going to always make a way for me. So, if it didn't miss the playoff pass, I would have went back home knowing, like, hey, I still have something, and, like, I'm still going to go up no matter what. The show is just not determined, like, who I am as an artist, and I think that's something that I had to learn, going through this transition with the show, just to know, like, just because you get to know, or just because, people may not see you now, they're not going to see you later, or not going to hear you later. So it's just something that I encourage anybody that's watching or listening or will be listening to, never give up and keep striving. No matter who rejects you, as long as you don't reject yourself, know that you are loved and that there's people out there that are ready to support you. Yeah. So I just want to encourage the world about that, because that's something that needs to be said, especially for, like, Black women, us being rejected, us not being, on the same pedestal as everybody else. Just don't give up, don't give in. Like, someone's gonna see you. All you need is one person to, like, believe in you. Yeah. And that person could be yourself. So that's just something I wanted to share.
Girl, all that wisdom. Yes, ma'am. You better talk to the people, period. And that's also why I'm glad to have a platform like this. Like, I love when guests just come and they share that wisdom with people, because it really is. We need this. We really do need to know that there are people out there who are willing to support. Like, not everybody is against us, There are people out there who, like you said, all you need is one person, So it's like, even in I think that's also very important when we chase our dreams, Like, it may, things are not going to always happen your way. You got tests and trials. You may hear no, but once again, keep going. It's all about that mentality. And if you want your dream bad enough, it's like, yes, you may fall, you may feel sad. Go ahead, cry your tears, take your naps, eat your snacks. If you need to get some ice cream, then do that, and come back and shake back. Because it's like, I feel like we as humans, sometimes we get caught up in what we want so bad that we begin to idolize it. But it's even. You said something a while ago that was so beautiful when you said that the voice, like that, like, yes, you are on the show, but that show doesn't make you. You are Manasseh Samone. You're just a part of that show. That show is not your entirety of who you are, and it's a beautiful thing that that, so that you can treat it as a blessing and not as, a God. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because a lot of people, especially singers and especially performers, we get caught up in, the stage, and then we can idolize it, so in times when we are not accepted or, whatever the case may be, it affects us so bad because we idolize this. But we have to understand that we are people in a place. The place is not who we are. You know what I'm saying? And that was a beautiful thing. I don't know why I said that, but hey, Hey.
Hey, you being led. You being led today. You being
Yes.
led today.
And also, there's another thing that I wanted to ask. So, speaking of being on stage, girl, how are you able to manage what emotions goes through your mind? Like, how are you able to manage like your vocal control, breathing control while you're singing? Like, on top of the nerves, like how do you kind of get those notes out, girl?
Okay, so I think from last season, I had a hard time with that. Just talking about like the 3 days, I was pitchy, I was just nervous, I was just all of it. And I think experiencing that and then coming back, kind of like gave me more thicker skin and more of a like a shield to protect my mentality on the stage. But I do lots of vocal warm ups. I did warm-ups every single day. I mean, I work the voice all the time. I have a voice coach that I work here in the Dallas local. Shout out to Edward. But yeah, I do a lot of those things, and I work on like breathing techniques as well to kind of like keep the vocal resistance of my breathing, so that whenever I do those runs or whenever I do those high notes, I can reach them, and I can be warmed up. So what goes through my mind? I think I just stop thinking. I just stop thinking. I think you get too in your head. If you're doing competition shows, you cannot be in your head. Like, you can be in your head before the actual performance. Like, be in your head during the practices, thinking about what you're going to do, in your head how you're going to do all of that. But once it's the day of the performance, get out of your head. So when I get up there, I'm just like no longer thinking about technique, no longer thinking about that stuff is just now second nature because I've practiced it so much. So it's like for me, I wasn't even thinking about anything. Only I was just thinking about like the lyrics to the song and how it resonated with me. And they didn't really share that on there. I'm sorry for rambling on, but they didn't really share this part, but I did mention how my father wasn't in my life in the battle round, and I think the way that they didn't air this part, but it's like the someone like you is reference to me because I didn't have my father figure in my life. I didn't have that figure in my life where I felt loved or felt important in that segment in my life. So I had to become to someone like you. Everything that he wasn't, I had to become for myself. And it's kind of like a reference to my younger self, like the don't wanna get me out, like that part is like how I felt when he wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like he was forgetting me, and then the never mind, I'll find. It's kind of like the version of who I am today. So it's kind of like that's kind of where the emotion and all the pain and all of that came from. So I think I was really just thinking about just selling the story and telling the story in my performance more than like the technique or did I hit that note or something like that. But I'm glad I got out of my head. That's really like the biggest deal I think with artists is that they're in their heads majority of the time because like you're on a show where people is critiquing your voice from A to Z, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like you just have to get out of your head and know who you are. You have to know who you are. You know your voice more than any coach on the show. Like I'm just gonna be honest. You know your voice more than anybody. So you have to know like take the advice on what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. So don't take it if it doesn't make sense and then take it if it does make sense. You know your voice more than anybody.
Yes, girl. Wow, that's so amazing. I needed to hear that myself, girl, because even when I be on stage, girl, them legs be buckling, okay? The voice be quivering, you know what I'm talking about? I'm like, ooh, okay, bring it back, D, bring it back, D. But when you said get out of your head, that was it, girl. I feel like sometimes we as creatives, especially as performers, y'all, my heart goes out to us because it's like, nobody can understand just how much is going on, and then you have to stand on stage and perform. But once you get out of your head and just be yourself and be free and use the gift that God gave you, like, your performance is gonna be great. Like, how you sound is gonna sound good, because you, once again, you're not all in your head, you're not stressing yourself out, but it's like you're also just living in the moment, using the gift that God gave you. And speaking of, how does it feel for you knowing that you're able to share that gift with those that you perform in front of?
Wow. Kelly Clarkson, Blake, Naya, Chance, honestly, it's I don't know, like, it feels like, one is, I'm super grateful how much to be able to do this twice,
Yeah.
because not everybody gets to come back to back the way that I did it. So I'm super grateful that I even got the opportunity to be back there. It just feels like, I think last time it felt like, well, this time more so like this feeling like I had to really make them regret, like, make you regret, like, yeah, you made a mistake, I've been good this whole time, you guys learn, so let me really show you what it's really about. But it's kind of my mindset. And it's like, okay, I only got one chair in the blinds, it's fine. But I'm finna really turn up on this battle.
No, for real. Yeah, it was personal. It was personal for you. And I'm glad that you were able to, redeem yourself. And girl, you have grown so much. Like, I'm telling you, just to be able to watch you just embrace your gift and be in the fullness of who you are, girl, that is so beautiful to see. Like, you just don't even understand, girl. I am rooting for you, okay? You have a lot of support back home, girl. You really doing your thing, for real. You're welcome. So, Manasseh, what is it like to be on Team Chance? Like, how is that? Because, I love Chance, girl. Oh, my God. Hey, Chance. Oh, my gosh. He's so sweet. And even the way he used his gift, like, it's amazing. And I'm glad that you were even able to be on his team to work with him. Like, what is that like, being a part of Team Chance?
Honestly, Chance is the most down-to-earth, genuine, sweet person you'll probably ever meet in this Hollywood life, honestly.
Aww.
Like, I think he's really, really passionate about his craft and music. Honestly, like, I wouldn't want him to work with any other coach, honestly. If I was to get 4 chairs turned, I probably would most likely would have went with Chance, because his history, his background, he definitely is a man of God, and he believes, that Jesus is King, and all of those good things. It's like, that's definitely something that I can relate to, and I think we're very similar when it comes to our performance style, because he gives a lot of that gospel feel into his music, and my voice is definitely like gospel feel, R&B soul. That's like kind of like my thing, and I feel like that's kind of where we kind of come together and work together as like a team. So I really appreciate being on his team. He's awesome. Like he really is. Like, he's actually legit. Like, he's not for the cameras. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's actually like really like a really great coach.
Oh, girl, well, I'm glad that you get to work with somebody like that who's also a man of God. And it even seems like the advice that Chance gives is very, like, he cares about y'all. Like, not just, oh, well, they on my team, let me just do this for TV, but he actually takes that time out to work with y'all. And that is so beautiful. It's wonderful to have mentors who are willing to pour into your life, like, who are willing to share with you the knowledge that they gained, instead of just, oh, well, y'all figure it out. But, like, no, it's very important. Even, like, no matter what industry you're in, whether it's the music industry, food, culinary, business, cosmetology, whatever dreams that you have, whatever industry you're in, it's so beautiful when you have mentors there to kind of help guide you and walk with you and show you, hey, this is where I've been. These are the things that work. These are the things that may not work. Encouraging you to be yourself. Like, I think it is so beautiful when you have mentors there to kind of take your hand and show you the ropes of things. So, yeah, I'm glad that he can be there for you,
I'm super glad to. I'm grateful that, and it's crazy because I pray for moments like this. Like, I'm like, oh, I hope I get someone with the rapper, like, and he was one of them Chance, and like, I had no clue that he would be on The Voice. Like, the fact that he's on The Voice is like God really does things in ways. Like I was thinking maybe I'll come out with a song or something, and then like he like appears or something like that. But the way that this happened was just like it's definitely it was a God way, definitely.
Yeah. All glory be to him. He worked that thing
Oh,
out, girl.
glory to God, yeah.
Yes, well, I'm praying that you will continue to be able to shed that light that he's blessed you with other people. Girl, you are such an inspiration to us. Shout out to you. We are rooting for you back home. So before we wrap this interview up, Manasseh, talk to the people. If you could give somebody a word of encouragement right now in this moment, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think something that I would want to say is that you are not your thoughts, and that whether those thoughts are negative, you're not your thoughts, and then remember that you have a voice that needs to be heard, whether you feel it or not, that it needs to be heard, and that people will be inspired by you one day. So you just have to keep pushing, and no matter who tells you no, I don't care if it's Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? You have to know, like, no, God has given me this vision. I'm going to go for it because it's what He's given me to do. And you just have to have the faith to know that God is going to provide. He's going to pull you through. He's going to make a way. He's going to open doors, bring those opportunities to you. You just have to keep working towards it because faith without works is dead. So it's like you have to work towards it. And not only that, you have to believe in yourself. I think believing in yourself is probably the biggest deal because if you're so much more like seeking validation from people, and not believing in yourself, it's like once you get that no, you're done. Like that's it. Like you're torn down. You're like, oh, well, they didn't accept me, or they didn't, they rejected me, so I must not be good enough. You're putting all of your power into a human being. You know what I'm saying? We put all of our energy to Jesus Christ, the one who lives forever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The one that reigns on the inside of us, and knowing that, He's going to make a way, and that He's the reason for why you have these gifts, and that no one else can take that away from you. Don't give anyone your power. And I think that's something I'll say, so.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That was so great. What a great word of advice, y'all. And y'all heard it from Miss Manasseh Samone herself. Thank you so much, girl, for being on the show today. What are your socials? Share your socials with us so that we can follow you.
Yes, okay, so on all my socials, it's Manasseh Samone. That's spelled Manasseh, and then Samone is Samone. Follow me on Instagram. It has a dot in between the two, but other than that, it's just Manasseh Samone on all platforms.
Yes, Manasseh Samone on all platforms. She said it's a dot that separates Manasseh and Samone. Yeah, so make sure y'all put that dot in there, period, because we ain't dealing with no bots, period. All right, girl. Well, until next time I see you, I'm definitely rooting for you. I wish you nothing but the best, girl.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're doing a thing too, girl. I see you all the time.
Oh,
the
thank
job
you.
is there. It's there.
Yes,
It's passion.
Thank you so much, and I can't wait till the day where I get my yes too, girl. I'm waiting for my turn over here too, girl. You know what I'm saying?
Come through.
Yeah. All right. Well, you take care, girl. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye. All right, y'all, and that is a wrap for Dream on Air with DeAndrea today. Once again, y'all were tuned in with Miss Manasseh Samone and your girl D. And until next time, y'all be blessed and take care. We out.
Inspiration, conversation with dream accomplishers. Tune in on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Write your goals down.